your rank, any goals that you want to meet in the near future. We love to see that. And we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off. I think it's a great time to start. And so let's send it over to Lindsay and let's get this thing kicked off.
Yay! Hey guys, thank you so much. First of all, Lavelle, corporate, for having all of us on here. I'm just going to go ahead and say thank you just from the start. We're all very, very excited to talk about this topic. One thing when we heard about this comeback topic was all of us were like, thank the Lord, right? Someone wants to talk about it and not just like, woo, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those topics where people kind of dance around because they're almost embarrassed. Well, then you meet us, the group of panelists right here, and we're like, no, we shout it from the rooftop, because that is where our business was made, was at the bottom when we fell. So I hope that you guys are ready to hear about how we got our businesses going, our mindset around that, and basically our biggest tips and tricks for when we did fall, but more importantly, how we got our own selves back up. I want to start this, first of all, and I hope that no one minds, I want to start this the same way I start every single Zoom I am a part of. I need you guys to drop your I ams into the chat. I need you to claim what you are working for, but more importantly, what this is doing for you. The reason I want to start it that way is because the minute I started claiming what I was working towards, the minute I started claiming and speaking it to the universe of, I am a leader, I am 4K, I am 12K, I am 200K, I am earning a rank advancement bonus, I am changing my family's life, I am. And if you heard me speak on stage at Palooza, that was a lot about what I did for my comeback, is I claimed what I was working for. I was no longer attaching myself just to a business, but I was attaching myself to what it was going to do for me. So with that, I'm loving all these items, like y'all, yes. Okay. With that, I want to bring it up with goals, because the biggest thing that I want to talk about today is getting your business going, but more importantly, the goals that you attach your business to. Something that I learned during my I'm going to call my downfall, right? During my fall, was that my business was attached to like money. It was attached to like materialistic things. And that wasn't where my business and my mind needed to be attached to. So in 2019, when my business was at the lowest of lows, I was not even earning my auto bonus, y'all. I was supposedly an 80K leader, but was not earning my auto bonus in 2019. February of 2019, we had also just found out that I was pregnant with my now almost 2-year-old son, Rylan Knox. And it was kind of one of those like gut punches where you were like, either you're going to make it work, or what are you going to do? Go back to work, working on my feet. I was a nurse, so working 12 to 14-hour shifts at the hospital. And it was one of those where my husband was like, yes, your team is not bringing in 12K, but neither are you. And I was like, okay, honey, like, okay. And he was like, I love you, but what is one thing that you have always said? You need to be your biggest runner. So to me, my goals weren't matching that. I was expecting my team to enroll 80K, but here I wasn't even enrolling 4K a month. If you need 4K, go out and enroll 4K. Go out and be that 4K. It does not matter if you are a 200K leader right now. If you need another 4K leg for whatever your business needs at the moment, why are you not going and creating that 4K yourself? Stop depending on your upline, your downline, and your sidelines to do it for you. Stop depending on your upline, your downline, and your sidelines goals to fuel you. So let's talk about goals real quick. For me, my biggest thing was my goals were not anything to do with my actual vision. When I had first started this, I was like, ooh, how cool. Let me go buy a Louis Vuitton bag. Y'all, I was in so much debt. I needed more than a Louis Vuitton bag sitting in my closet, right? And here I was spending my money on a Louis Vuitton bag. Why? Because that's what on social media looked like goals and looked like success. I quickly learned that that's not success. I can tell you right now, as the girl who spent most of her money at the beginning on Louis Vuitton and Gucci, is it nice? Is it fun? Perfect. Yeah, that's all it is. That does not equal success. So for me, I quickly learned that my goals needed to be realigned to my vision. But more importantly, I needed to figure out what my vision was. So if you right now don't know what your vision is, I need you to close your eyes at some point today. I need you to really envision your life in a year 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years. Heck, go to 20 years if you want. But more importantly, really, really envision. I want you to, if you don't have a home office right now, y'all, where I'm sitting right now is in the front of my house. I never had a home office. So when we built our dream home, I knew my office was going to be in the front of our house because I wanted to look out every day at the windows and see the trees and just see the outside. When I closed my eyes 2 years ago and envisioned this, this is what I envisioned. That's what I mean by you need to set your goals and your vision to you. If during the pandemic, you could not stand that your significant other was home, you were like, you need to go back to work, you're getting on my nerves. Well, then your goal is not to retire your significant other, right? Your goal is that time freedom, that financial freedom, not necessarily bringing your significant other home. So do you see how it's super easy to see when other people are like, I want to retire my husband, or I want my dream truck, or I want this, and I want that. Maybe your goal and your dream is your perfect minivan for all those kids that you have. Well, sis, go get the minivan. Stop working towards the Mercedes and start working towards your minivan. Watch how your business is going to change when you reassign your goals and your vision to you and not to the people that you're watching on social media. You need to make sure that before you get running, you know what you're running towards. Because otherwise, you are just running and you're not assigning it to things. My biggest thing with my IAMs is I saw a lot of IAM 4K, IAM 12K, IAM 40, IAM 80. But what does that mean? Truly, what does that mean to you? What does that rank advancement bonus right now at 4K? What is that going to do for your family? Because if you're just saying I am 4K, you're not assigning it to anything. It no longer really has a meaning. It stops at I am 4K. But if you say I am 4K, that is going to pay for childcare. That is going to pay for this debt. If you assign it to something, that's where that fire, that's where that passion comes from. And that's where that on those hard days where you don't want to show up, that's when you show up because you know what you're working towards. One step further, if you have even one promoter underneath you, do you know what they're working towards? Yes, it's great to have your own dream board, and I highly, highly suggest it, like beyond anything. But it is something so amazing when you can also look at your team's dream board. And I'm not just talking about Christina's 4K. I'm talking about Christina's paying off so-and-so, right? Or Christina is coming home and replacing her 9-to-5 income, right? Christina, that's what I'm talking about on your vision board. Christina is driving blue minivan, right? I want you to get so clear with what you are working towards and what your dream is working towards, because watch how quickly that community comes into play. When you are building your business, if you are, whether you've been here for 7 years, 7 days, or you're a brand new promoter, hey, hi, hello, you're probably like, who is this psychopath? But it's fine, I get it all the time. But it doesn't matter how long you've been here or how short you've been here. The fact is, we all hit the same become a promoter button. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. We all have the same resources and tools if you look hard enough on the internet. Y'all, YouTube, Lavelle does these trainings and brings so many leaders, different leaders on to train everybody. If you just search hard enough, you're going to find and be able to create your own community. You're going to be able to find and create what you're looking for, because I'm going to tell you right now, I love my upline, but she did not build my business. I love my sidelines, but they did not build my business. And I love my downline. Y'all, we did this together. Not one person did this on their own. I always say I'm not self-made, I'm tribe-made. Why? Because we all linked arms and we built our goals and our vision together. So if you are just starting your business, or maybe you were like me in 2019, in a year from now, you can change your entire life. Every single one of us on here right now that's speaking today, it took us a year of deciding, a year of getting clear with what our vision and our goals were, with what our team's visions and our team's goals were. And then, you know what? Linking arms and being our biggest runner. Because if you want your team to go and do IPAs every day, are you doing IPAs every day? If you want your team to go earn a rank advancement bonus, are you enrolling what you're telling your team they should enroll? You need to lead from the front. Whether you have a team of 500, a team of 5, or a team of 1, you, yourself, and I, right? You have to lead from the front. You have to be in the trenches for your business. Do not depend on your upline, your downline, your sidelines. You depend on you and your vision, because when you make that crystal clear for you, when you decide what you are doing with this business, bonus or not, because let's be real, y'all, this business is the bonus. You can have bonus payouts, or you can have weekly every single Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern payouts, y'all. And I know what I'm working for, but let's be real. It comes from the impact. That impact comes from you. Set your goals, find your vision, and assign those things to something. Because if you're right now just running for 4K, what does that mean? Because anybody in Lavelle, they don't know what 4K means. Outside of Lavelle, I mean, sorry. Anybody outside of Lavelle, they're not going to know what 4K means. You could say, I'm working towards 4K. Or, I'm working to change my life. Which one is more powerful? Yes, 4K will change your life, right? 12K, 40, 80, 200. But if you're speaking it to the world, it better have meaning. Because I don't know about y'all, but no rank ever woke me up in the morning to work. A rank didn't make me, right? My goals and my vision are what got me up every single morning. And on that note, I want to talk about staying in your own lane, right? Y'all know I have gift of gab. I'm trying my best here. But you want to stay in your own lane. We talked about goals. We talked about vision. We talked about how to assign those and what to work towards, right? But the biggest thing is, if you do not stay in your own lane, if you're being Uber XL and you're Ubering with your sideline, your upline, I mean, a girl that you stalk on Instagram, if you are taking all of those things into consideration for your business, your blinders are not on. Because I congratulate every single person that I know for their wins, but their wins don't take away from what I'm doing. Just because somebody else won doesn't mean you can't. And when you don't stay in your own lane and teach yourself how to run for you, for your dreams and for your goals, you're setting yourself up for the comparison trap. And it's something that every single person in every single milestone of their business and life goes through. Hey, hi, hello. I almost allowed it to take my business from me. But y'all, you have to realize, when you want something bad enough, you have to be willing to do the work for it. This isn't given, this is earned. And it comes from doing the work. You need to do your work, not what your upline, your sideline, Sally Joe Bob across the street is doing or saying. You have to be so clear with what your lane is running towards that it doesn't matter who tells you no, who says it's a scam, who says it's monopoly money, who says it doesn't work. You say, okay, thank you, I'm running. Because if you think that all of us on here have not heard no, what's that reel that I just did? Like, y'all, that is so funny. We hear no continuously, but it's not about the no, because they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to themselves. You have to realize that at the end of the day, if your goals and your vision and your lane is overflowing with other people's goals, vision, and ideas, you're not going to be running for you. We're not going to be running towards what we're here for why you hit yes to become a promoter. A year from now, if you stay in your own lane, if you work your goals, if you show up every single day, because y'all, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,052 times, consistency is key. If you aren't willing to be consistent for a year for yourself, what do you want from this? If you can't commit to yourself, if you can't be consistent for yourself, who's going to be? If you can't show up every day and wake up in the morning and work towards your goals and your dreams and your vision, who's going to? If you don't wake up every day and work your business, who's going to? I always ask my team, I say, would you hire you or would you fire you? based on the last week, if you went to a boss at 9 to 5 and you showed them what you did for work, right? And you said, this is what I did. Would you hire you or would you fire you? Would you be collecting a paycheck off of that? If you can't honestly say yes, it's time to reevaluate. And I want to talk IPAs, and then I'm going to pass it to Hannah to do her thing. For me, my biggest thing that I did for my business was income producing activities. But more than that, showing up every single day to do them. Income producing activities. Showing up every single day to do them. It might seem consistent, like it might seem, what's the word? Shoot, y'all know I'm not good at English words, none of that stuff. But it might seem redundant. There we go. Redundant. But that's when people start to pay attention. That's when people start to notice. You might think that you're being annoying, but you don't realize you post on your stories every single day. Maybe 25% of the people that follow you see it on a Tuesday. Then another 25% see it on a Wednesday. But if you're only posting every Tuesday, you're missing the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday people. You're only hitting 25%. If you show up every single day, you're giving yourself a fighting chance to be seen. The best thing you can do for your business that I have ever done is to plan it out. But not just plan out my thrive, plan out my life with my thrive, because to me, they commingle, they coexist, they're BFFs. I have in my planner, which I keep looking down at because I actually took notes, y'all would be very proud, is I literally write down when my son has a doctor's appointment, when my son has a play date. I write down when I have a Zoom, and my day, I have it color coded between life and thrive. So I know which is which. They coexist together. If it is taking you all day long to do a round of IPAs, you got to get disciplined. You have to time block. I do 5-minute intervals of my IPAs. So self-development, posting to my stories, wishing people happy birthdays, sharing to my stories, interactions, 3-2-1s, growing my networks. I am in gratitude. That's just a simple list right there of IPAs, right? For me, my biggest thing is I do my entire list an hour in the morning, 5-minute intervals, get it done. Then I work in the rest of the day the things that are not one and dones. To me, one and dones are things like you make a post, one and done. You took your products, you put it on your stories, one and done, right? Focused IPAs to me are interactions, 3-2-1s, growing my network. That's 3 things. If you can't do 3 things throughout your day in 5-minute intervals, you don't need motivation. You need self-discipline. There's a difference. And I'm going to tell you that every single person on this panel today, y'all are getting some Lynn's love. Sorry if you're sensitive. I'm not the best at that. But for me, my biggest thing is I am the least motivated person ever, y'all. I built this business in leggings, like currently wearing pajama pants right now. It's fine. On my couch, watching Harry Potter, not really watching, working my business, right? With the Harry Potter going on in the background. So to me, if you need motivation and somebody to tell you to work your business, y'all, I'm the least motivated person in the room. But I can tell you right now, I'll be the most disciplined person in the room. Because I show up on my hard days, so that way I show up on my easy days. Because if you don't show up on your hard days, you've already shown yourself that you don't have to show up every single day. So what's it going to matter if you don't show up on an easy day? With that, I'm going to pass it to Hannah. Do your thing, girl.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Hannah Rain. I'm 200K a little south of Nashville in a small town called Columbia, but I pretty much tell everyone I'm from Nashville because everyone knows Nashville. Linz, I'm so glad you touched on scheduling and the consistency and showing up for your business. And that was one of the things that caused me to give up in this business in the beginning. Was I just felt like it was too much. I felt like it was too much on my plate, that I didn't have time. As a stay-at-home mom, I came home to be with my family, to not be stressed out with a job anymore. But the problem was that I was so unorganized. I didn't have a schedule. I didn't have a compelling why. I didn't have a vision. And I didn't realize that this business is not designed to put more on your plate. It is designed to take things off of your plate, like those freedoms that she was talking about. So just a little bit of my backstory, guys. I posted a few trainings here before, which is kind of a full circle moment for me, because a little over a year ago, it makes me a little emotional talking about it, but I actually reached out to the person this morning who hosted that Super Saturday Zoom I believe it was April 14th or so of last year, 2020. Ryan Van Gordon was on a Super Saturday training and talked about how she completely started over her business. And this was a point where I was at rock bottom in my business, but rock bottom was the solid foundation into where I rebuilt my business. So in 2019, July of 2019, I hit the promoter button and I went 12K in 19 days. It went by really fast. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate how hard it is to hit 12K for some people and how long that takes for some people. And it was very easy for me to become complacent in 12K and to think that getting to 40K was just too much work for me. You know, I didn't have any value in that because I achieved it so quickly. I hadn't faced any adversity at this point, and I easily gave up on myself. And I gave up on myself because I didn't have a compelling why. I didn't have a vision board. I had no clue, and honestly had more doubts in what this business could do for my family. I honestly just looked at this as extra stay-at-home mom fun spending money. But to me, that wasn't compelling enough to wake up every single day and work this business. So I built about a $16,000 business at this point, and I sat back for 7 months. And my business went down the drain. I will be completely transparent and honest with you that I maybe logged into my back office a couple of times a month, and it was always on the first to check my credits and towards the end to see how much work my team had done while I sat back and did nothing, honestly. It was April 1st of last year where I logged in and realized that I had no credits. And honestly, I thought it was an April Fool's joke. And my upline and one of my best friends who's sitting on this panel with me, Brittany Plunkett, I sent her a text message and I said, there's a problem. And she said, well, I already know what you're going to say. You don't have any credits. I'm like, yeah, what's the issue? I don't have any credits. She said, Hannah, you haven't been working. It was a huge slap in the face for me. It was a big ego check for me that I felt entitled. Like, I felt this sense of entitlement that because I was a 12K that I should be thriving for free. I hadn't been working my business, and you can't expect others to do the things that you're not willing to do. And that is the day that Brittany got very real with me and was the friend that I'm very thankful that she was. And she made me come to terms with my own crap and really see that I did this to myself and I really let my team down. She sent me a link to the Super Saturday that was a few days later, and she said, I just want you to watch this Super Saturday training. I just want you to watch it. And I remember at this point, I'd never been on a training. I thought I was too good for calls. I really thought I was a know-it-all. I thought I was above it, guys. I thought that I was above network marketing. I did. I had always been in a manager's position. I had been in the healthcare field for many years. I really thought that I was above it. But I put it on my computer and I was cleaning my house that day. And I remember I heard Ryan Van Gordon talking, and I pulled up a chair and I sat down for the first time and I watched this training. As a 12K, former 12K, I was now a 0K, I watched a training for the first time, and she spoke to me, and it really hit me in the face of like, wow, I've got to do two things to make this work. I've got to humble down and I've got to hone in if I really want to make this work. And at this point, this was a point where the pandemic was at a rise. There was a lot of uncertainty. Yes, I was a stay-at-home mom. My family was pretty financially comfortable, but there was a lot of unknown. There was a lot of things that we just didn't know what was going to happen. My husband was a business owner. We had employees to pay. We had food to put on the table for other people's families and ensure that they kept a job. And I knew that I had to pull some weight at this point, that it was no longer about manicure money. It was about financial security at this point. And that had to be my why. And I had to help other families do the same. So at this point, it was April 16th that I decided to come back, but come back with a purpose. And for the first time, I made a vision board. But with this vision board, I put nothing on there for myself, really. I had a personal vision board, but for this vision board for my business, I really put nothing on there for myself. This was kind of a selfless vision board because I knew that I would give up on myself before I gave up on others. So a couple of things that I did was I had to, number one, admit that I didn't know it all, and that to be a leader, I needed to be a student. And I had to learn how to start showing up, and not just showing up in leading, but showing up in learning and being able to take constructive criticism and being able to take advice, and not even advice from uplines. Guys, I have learned more in this business from my brand promoters and 4Ks and 12Ks under me than I have ever learned from above. It's just taking the time to humble down and know that you're not the smartest person in the room. And if you are, you're in the wrong room. That was hard. It was hard for me to surround myself with people doing better than me, right? In order for you to grow, you have to surround yourself with people who are doing better than you. So I had to surround myself with the people that I found intimidating and start finding them inspiring instead. Turn that intimidation into inspiration. I had to admit that I really did need this business. Oftentimes when people start a network marketing business, they want to call it a side gig. They want to play it off because sometimes even as stay-at-home moms, we don't want to admit that we need the money. We don't want to admit that our family kind of does live paycheck to paycheck, that we are kind of struggling, that we really do need some help. Sometimes we have a little bit of an ego issue, and I had to let go of my ego and admit that we did need this, even though we were living comfortably, that if life threw a rotten lemon at us, that we were not going to be able to make lemonade. It was going to be bad because we had no emergency funds. We had no emergency savings. So at this point, I really just had to admit that I fell off. I had to admit that I fell off and be relatable. So what did I do to restart my business? I did an Instagram Live and IGTV admitting that I fell off. I couldn't just come back and be like, hey guys, I'm promoting Thrive again. I've got balance on sale for $15. No, I had to come back and say, hey, it's me. I'm here to talk. Like, everyone falls off. People fall off New Year's resolutions. People fall off their journey. They fall off their goals. And that's what I did was I fell off. But I was humble enough to say, like, I'm here. And instead of saying, look where I was, look how far I've come, it's like, listen, I'm restarting this. Come with me. I hope that you can entrust me enough to come with me. And at that point, I was able to relate with a lot of my team members who had fell off, a lot of my customers who fell off. I didn't realize how many customers and team members I had with me for me, not even just the product or the business. They were here for me. And when they saw me fall off, they fell off too. I had to hone in and really focus on my team's whys, like Lindsay said, because for me, my whys were not enough to get me up every morning and work this business. I'd have a few little panic moments throughout the month, like, oh, we have a bill coming up. I need to work the business. Oh, I've got this coming up. I need to work the business. And instead, I needed to find something that would compel me every single day. And that was my team's whys, and not just my downline. I'm talking about my upline as well, and my family. I had to look outside of me. When you are asking your team, how can I help, and ask for help, there's two things that you can do when you're asking for help. You're asking for help from your team. You're asking for help from your upline. If you see that your team member who's popping off and running, be humble enough as a leader to learn from them and say, okay, let's sit down. I want you to teach me how you're doing this because you are enrolling, you're hitting these VIPs. Like, I want to know because you obviously have something that works. When you are going to your upline and asking for help, asking them if you can sit in on other trainings that they're doing, asking them if you can go and sit down and just watch them work for a day. I will be 100% honest with you, and Brittany can vouch for this. During Operation Winning, I didn't know how to be a good enough leader to make sure that every single one of these teammates, I had to be held accountable to make sure every single day that I was working this business, Like, y'all, I'm 25 years old. I have a 4-year-old child, but I still have to be held accountable sometimes. I am someone's mama, and I still need someone to be my mama some days. So during Operation Winning, I had to go every single day. I had to enroll my child in daycare. Even though I was a stay-at-home mom, I made that sacrifice to go and sit at that desk right behind Brittany's head and work in her office every day from January 7th until April 30th to run this business. And I'll talk about that in a second. But when you're asking for help, I want you to also remember to ask, how can you help? How can you help your downline? And one of the things that I had to do was I had to rebuild a relationship with my team again. I had to rebuild a relationship, and not even in business, but kind of personal. And one of the things that I asked them when I was asking them about their goals, it was, I don't want to know what rank you want to be. I don't want to know about the Autobone. I want to know what keeps you up at night. Like, what keeps you up at night? What is stressing you out? Like, what can we take off your plate? And I'll never forget when I came back into this business in April, Brittany sat me down and she told me a need that she had. And I ran harder for her need than I probably would have for anything that I would have had for myself. So don't forget to ask your upline. If you don't have a team right now, to go and ask them what they need, go to your upline, the person who brought you here, and ask them, what do you need? Like, what can I do for you? And also the people in your home. Sometimes we forget about our spouse because maybe they're not as involved in this business as we are, but don't forget to ask them about their needs. Maybe putting some of their things on your vision board, because they're not in a place right now. They're working 80 plus hours a week. They don't even have time to think about their visions and goals. Maybe whatever it is that can compel you enough. And that's revising your vision board. Revising your vision board, it doesn't have to be taking all the things you hoped and wished for off. It's just covering it up for right now with what's the most important. So at April 16th of 2020, my business in March had ended with $2,008, I believe. And I was not thriving for free. So none of that work was my own. Fast forward to March of this year, I hit the 200K rank advancement bonus. Now, I just want to share with you that in between that time frame, I hit one more time of adversity. See, I was pretty much planned to hit 200K in October of this past year. I was sitting about probably less than $50,000 away from hitting 200K, and we just knew October was going to be my month. I hit a lot of adversity, and I lost about $100,000 in my business, to where in December, I was barely maintaining 80K. I could have easily said, like, this is it. Like, I'm done. This is it. Like, this is just not meant to be. But I remembered that God's pace wins the race, and that if I could just continue to wake up and do this business for the reasons that I know are right, and know that when you're making your I ams, I always encourage you to add or something better at the end. So if your goal is 200K, it's 200K or something better. Or if it's 4K, it's 4K or something better. Whatever God has planned for you is going to be better than you could have even imagined. So my goals being I'm 200K or something better, not only did that slow me down back to 80K in December, but it's because something better was in store for me. Because in January, I had the opportunity to claim that $200,000 rank advancement bonus and an $80,000 bonus on my husband's account, which we both did. Had I hit that in October and gone at my pace that I wanted, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to earn that bonus, but I did. So it's trusting the process. So reach up, reach down, humble down, and hone in on your team and find your compelling why. So with all that being said, I'm going to pass it over to my upline and my best friend, and the person that I honestly give all of the credit to in getting me started in this business in the first place, Brittany Plunkett.
Okay. Fire. And this is why I love this business is
I think that each and every one of us start out this life, and being a like top ranked network marketer is not on your vision board, right? Like you don't come out of high school thinking I'm fixing to do it, which I mean, these days I see it happening a lot more, but that was not the case for me. And whenever I started this business, I was probably at the lowest in my personal life I had been in an extremely long time. But I had success out the gate. I felt good. I hit 12K in 20 days. My friends were jumping on. We were slinging samples. We were overworking it, but we done it. But that sales is addicting, right? That feeling of like winning is addicting. And also, whenever you don't see that, it's defeating. And that defeat kills your business, you think. But it's not the winning season and it's not the losing season that makes you. It's the growing. If you're growing when you're winning, if you're growing when you're losing, you never, ever truly lose. You will forever be winning in the mind. Like you have to think about the simple little things that you're doing every single day. What am I doing while I'm winning? What am I doing? What did my calendar look like? If you don't have a calendar, that's your problem. Had to figure that out myself. Like Lindsay said, I have a calendar for every day. I have notes for everything. I was not that person before, but my work ethic will outwork anybody's intelligence any day who is not disciplined and planned. And I had to learn that the hard way. I've always been really good at doing what I said I was gonna do. If you put something in front of me, I was going to make it happen. But I was at a point when I started this business that I didn't want to be that girl, but I didn't have a choice. Like it was either that or go back to nursing. And I wasn't ready for that. I wanted to be able to stay at home with my kids. I wanted to spend the last 2 years that I had while they were in high school with them. So I tried it out and it felt great. We hit 12K in 20 days. Hannah came in right behind me and I was like, yep, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And that was like July of 2019. And then Hannah goes on vacation. That's what we like to call it, vacation. And I loved her through it. It was one of those things that looking back now, I needed that time. I needed those 10 months of sitting at like $28,000, $29,000 in volume to grow me, to grow and heal me. So when this business did take off again, and I knew somewhere in the back of my mind it would, that I would be able to be the leader that I wanted, that I would be the leader that my team would need. And so one of the quickest things that I had learned was, and Lindsay said it, Hannah said it, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong daggone room, sister. And if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're the problem with your team. I'm being really honest. I come off very intimidating. I come off very driven. I've been in bad places. I come out of things. I pulled myself up out of what looked like dirt to other people and made gold out of it previously in my life because I was willing to work for it. So I had a little bit of arrogance about me. I carry myself in a way that I will outwork you. I do not have a problem with work. Quite frankly, I love to put the work in. I wake up every morning ready to go when it comes to work, when I know there's a mission. But the mission at this point in my business was me. I was the mission. What did I need to do to help me? Affirmations, I had never heard of an affirmation in my life. I didn't know what it meant. So if you're on here and you're like, Lindsay, what does affirmation mean? It was like, I had a really hard time looking in the mirror and saying, I am worthy. I am capable. I am like 4K. I am 12K. I had a really hard time looking in the mirror and saying those things. And so if you don't have I ams, if you don't have a vision, it's okay, sister. I didn't either. But those 10 months of sitting still, I found my vision. I found my purpose. And I was ready in April of 2020 2020 when Hannah came back. Y'all, in March of 2020, I sat at our lifestyle getaway and I listened to Jason Camper say, "What will you do in defense of your dreams?" And I was like, whoa. For some reason, I needed to hear that. Like, what are you going to give up? Are you going to give up a weekend for the next year to be able to be free for the rest of your life? Or to build the vessel that's going to give you freedom to do the things that you know you're called to do? Are you going to give up those friends that sit at the table and talk about everyone else? Are you going to give up the friends who are at the table that are holding you down and all they plan is for the weekend? They're not planning for the future. They're planning weekend trips to the beer joint or the club or the kayaking trip where everybody ends up plastered and you got to drag them out. And I ain't against it, but I'm just saying, are they planning for the future? And if they're not, you need a new table. Maybe you need to fix the table that you're sitting at. Maybe you get to be the inspiration at that table. That's your job. Like, and everybody's like, well, my friends, you are their friend. If you're somebody's friend, you will inspire them to be better, do better. And you know how you do that? By doing it for yourself and not waiting on them to take the lead and not waiting on them to give you permission. Because when you do it for yourself, you give yourself, your family, your friends, and your team permission to do this for themselves. When you do your IPAs every day, you give them permission to take the time out of their day to do it for them. When you hit your auto bonus, when you hit that rank advancement, you give your team that opportunity to do that for themselves. And if they don't want it, that's not your problem. They will come back. They will come back if you stay consistent long enough. Where would we be if Hannah would have never come back if I hadn't come back, if I hadn't stayed consistent. She'd have never shown back up. She wouldn't, like, I could have babied her whenever she called me and I'd be like, okay, honey, I'll send you credits. No, you didn't work for it. Go to work. You're very capable. It's not like she was sick. It's not like she had a reason. She wasn't working, and I don't reward people who don't work. It's like rewarding your kid for bad behavior. We don't do that around here. Sorry, like Lindsay said, if I'm on your toes, it's because you feel convicted, and your convictions are not my problem. So, what do you do? How do you lead? And like Lindsay asked you, like my question to you is, if you had to sit down in front of your children and tell them what you did this week to earn your paycheck that's going to pay the bills, that are going to lead the way and change your family's life, could you tell them what you did? Forget about your boss. Can you look at your kids and tell them what you did? Can you look at your kids and say, you know what, I believe in you because I believe in me? And if you don't, if you can't say that, you got to get to that point. And how do you do that? The tips of that, people, they're the same exact tips I rolled my eyes at when I heard people talk about them. I was like, affirmations, reading a book. I ain't read a book. I read Sarah Plain and Tall when I was in like the second grade, and that was the smallest book in the library that I had to read, and I had not read since then unless I was forced to, even in nursing school. I was finding a way, the Cliff Notes, the cheat sheets, whatever I could, because I did not like to read books. I had to find a way. I had to find the discipline to sit down and read 10 pages, to read 10 more. Y'all, I am ADD as they come. I have to read out loud to myself so I can retain it, because I can read the same page 10 times and never figure it out, but I do not give up. I'm not giving up on myself. And when someone, if you read book after book after book of self-development or business, you will find that your daily routine and your habits that you build long before you ever feel defeated, long before that fall ever comes, long before you ever lose $100,000 in sales, that discipline and habits that you create are the ones that will carry you through. They are the ones that will carry you through those days when you don't know how to face your team because you feel just as defeated. And you know that the moment that you turn on the screen, they're going to be able to see it, right? You feel it, like they know I'm defeated. They know I'm not selling. They know. No, they don't. They don't know unless you show it. They don't know unless you let that defeat you. They don't know unless you don't show up. And you don't lose unless you don't show up. Good, bad, ugly, whatever the day looks like, you show up. It hurts sometimes. It's real. You got to get out of your ego because it ain't really about you anymore. This business is about so much more. But you read the books. And this one was the one that really got me. You get up early. You do the workout. Hannah Rain looked at me crazy whenever as I progressed, I kept getting up earlier and earlier and earlier. And she was like, you are crazy if you ever think I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, sis, you don't have to. You do you whenever you want to. I had to work to that because I'm not a morning person. I still don't want to talk to you until after 10 o'clock, but I'm up doing me and taking care of me because that's what I had to do to build me and to find me and to build the discipline and the habits that I wanted to have so I could take care of my family and my team. And working out, whether it's a walk, whether you find a squat or whatever, like planks, whatever workout you find for you is what will lead you through. It will take, you may get up and you're like, oh, it's a bad day, I'm just going to sleep in. No, sister, you get up. You do the same thing every day, regardless of your emotions, because your emotions do not pay your bills. If you are emotional about this business, whether you're high or low, that's never going to pay your bills. Period. If you get up and do the same work that you do on a good day as you do whenever it's bad day, that's what pays your bills, right? Where the way you act whenever your bills need to be paid, if you do that whenever you feel defeated, that will pay your bills next week too, because the work you don't do this week means the money you miss next week. So I'm like, Lindsay, I took notes because I can go down a rabbit hole in a real quick hot minute. The one thing I would find whenever I would read or whenever I would do my affirmations or whenever I would put in the podcast is I was not alone in my defeat or discouragement at that time. Everyone who's ever been successful in any aspect of their life has felt defeat. They have found failure. They have been the person that everyone talked about. They have been the rumor. It is okay. Keep going. You know, temporary defeat always equals failure. If you allow temporary defeat to take over your mind, to poison your team, to poison your followers, it will always equal failure. No one in my team has ever heard this, and I'm going to say it out loud today. No one knew I had deranked in December. No one. Until this moment, no one has ever heard those words come out of my mouth because it was no longer about my rank. It was not about my paycheck. It wasn't about any of it. It was, I knew that if I let my team know that I was defeated by what was happening to us, that they would lose their hope and they would lose their dreams. And their dreams meant more to me than my emotions about seeing my 200K click over and say, you have reached the highest rank of this company ever will. I had someone staring at me every day on this Zoom who I know wanted 200K more than I ever did. I asked her two things when she come back. I said, what do you want and what are you willing to do? She said, I want to wear a crop top and I want to be a 200K. And I said, got you. We're going after it. That was just where we were at. Like you had to have a physical goal and you got to have a financial goal because you've got to see progress in both places for yourself. And I was like, okay, let's get the crop top. Let's get the 200K. And that was just where I was at. And if I was ever defeated, if I ever just, oh, well, you know what? I didn't hit 200K this month. I didn't hit 200K. Guess what? I'm never going to hit it again. When I close out my month at $500,000 in sales, it blows my mind. Not because that was my goal, but because I knew that if I helped my team hit their goals, if I cared about their goals, that I would always be winning. We won't always hit them at the same pace. We will not forever always in sales be going up. And sometimes in sales, unless you don't stick around for it, you will go down. You will go backwards. It's part of it. But what I realized was when I hit 200K, I quit saying I am 200K. I quit focusing on the 200K. I quit focusing on what was my next goal. What is my next goal? Everyone on my team can tell you what my next goal is, what my next desire is for our team, because I know the next goal that I have means we've touched more people. Whenever all of these things happen and you feel discouraged, and I will turn this over to Tommy and Q, you have to find the gratitude, and that is the part of your affirmations. That's the part of your journaling. That's the part of your everyday that you have to do. You have to find the gratitude in the little things, not the house you live in, not the car you drive, not the savings account, the gratitude in the little things, the team that you do have, those that do love you, those that are reaching out, the healthy kids that you have, the fact that you don't have to, worry about paying your bills this week. The fact that you just paid your bills. You might be flat broke, but your bills were paid. Because there was times I was flat broke and my bills still weren't paid. And there was no savings to go to. So you have to find the gratitude. My team will tell you, and Hannah will tell you this too. Your mindset and your positivity affects everything you do. And there was a point in the middle of rank advancements about mid-February, Hannah looks at her numbers and she was like, it's not going to be this month. And I look over at her because that desk that was there was over there. And I was like, what? And she said, it's not going to be this month. I'm not going to hit 200K this month. And I looked at her and I said, well, if that's the mindset you got, you just go on home till next month and then you come back. Because if we give up on the 15th of the month, then guess what? We're never going to get there if we're giving up on the 15th of every single month. Because what you do today creates your paycheck next week and next month, and what you continue to do. And she looked at me like I had four heads, and I was like, no, I'm serious, the door, like, just go, because that's, you can't poison my positivity. Like, I will not allow it to happen. Never, not going to. You have to write the thank you cards. You have to send your friend flowers. You have to sometimes intentionally smile. You have to put the podcast in that tells you that, you know what, you're not the only one, and suck it up and keep going. Whenever you're feeling down, whenever you're discouraged, because what you put into you and in what your mind doesn't know, your subconscious doesn't know if you got $1 million in the bank or 2 pennies to rub together. It does not know. You get to tell it what it is. And that's why I ams are so important. If you show up in the hard, like Lindsay says, if you show up in the defeat, no one has to know you're defeated. Because guess what? Your defeat rubs off. You had this positivity train rolling and you just sucked it, you just soul sucked it and threw it out the window. Reflect on what you did when you were winning. Reflect on what your calendar said. Who were you touching? Who were you talking to? How many lives were you doing? How many posts a day? How many times were you in your story? Are you giving valuable information to your team? And if you aren't doing the same things you were doing then, go back and redo them. And I think that's all I have. I'm going to stop, because if I could, I'm like, Lynn, I have the gift of gab and I will keep going. But the one thing I will tell you, and I'll turn it over, you got to know if it's your time to grow or your team's time to grow. Because sometimes you need to grow before your team can grow. Period. Tommy and Q, it's all you.
I mean, like, that's like mic drop. Like,
maybe we should go the next Super Saturday.
Oh God.
So we're Tommy and Q. I'm Kadria. Everyone calls me Q.
And I'm Tommy. We are 200Ks out of Ackworth, Georgia. And first, I want to say we are super grateful, super thankful for the opportunity to even, share our story with you guys. So we were sitting here like, who's going to talk first? Who's going to say this? Who's going to say that?
We don't prep.
We don't prep. like everything that we, you know, when we talk, it all comes from feeling, from emotion, from heart. And I think the first thing I want to say is, you guys drop in the chat, like, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you doing this business? I mean, of course, the products are amazing, but why are you here? What are you doing the business for? And I think we sharing a little bit of our story and kind of validate why we deserve to even be on this, you know, bring your business back Zoom. We've been doing this for a little over 4 years. And a year and a half of that was on another team. Now, when we came into this business, we knew nothing about network marketing. We knew nothing about direct sales. We just loved the product. We jumped in head first, and we were just saying, you know, we were going to make some money. That was our focus. You know, that was our goal, just to make some money. And a year and a half of being stuck, of not growing, of not learning,
of not educating ourselves,
we were ready to quit. And we decided, like, okay, well, we're going to do something different. And I want to tell you guys, like, I don't know how, you know, real and raw Lavelle wants us to get, but it's important to us to tell you guys that we didn't resign the right way, and we went to another team. And we grew very fast. We switched to another team. We grew very fast. We hit 40K 1 month. This was at Christmas time. We hit 40K 1 week. And then the week before New Year's Eve, the day before New Year's Eve, we hit 80K.
It was a week later.
We hit 40K. Then a week later, we hit 80K. And the momentum was high. We were celebrating. We were good. And Lavelle sent us letters. Said, hey,
you did it wrong.
No,
you're not compliant.
That was not the compliant way to do it.
So I was watching the chat, not to cut him off, but that's what we do. I was watching the chat, and there's a lot of new people on here. So just know that always be compliant. Always do the right thing. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you. You have to be compliant. You have to do things the right way. If you are not compliant, you will get caught. So don't think you won't, because you will. Okay. And I thought that was very important to insert that in there, because I hear all the time of people wanting to switch teams. I hear all the time of people wanting to do it the wrong way. And honestly, guys, we're going to tell our journey, but you have to think this: wherever you go, you take you with you. And we were taking us with us. Uneducated, thinking this was, you know, raised in a place where this was known to be a pyramid scheme. So just know that wherever you go, you take you with you. Nothing changes.
Yep. So, you know, we got those letters from Lavelle, and it was devastating, because it was we finally felt like, okay, things are starting to look up. Things are starting to get better. This is how it's supposed to be. And they said, nope, you guys have to sit out for 6 months. We were a fast growing 80K team. And Lavelle said, because you guys didn't do it the right way, we have to keep it compliant. You guys have to sit down for 6 months. We didn't tell our team that we were suspended. We didn't tell anybody that we were bringing into the business that we were suspended. We worked our business for 6 months with no paycheck. Still hosting team Zooms. Still doing locals. Still doing 3-way calls.
And Tommy had already left his job.
I had already walked away from my job. So we were living a family of 6 living off of a front office assistant's or manager's income. Times got really, really tough for us. really tough. Our van was barely working. Our kids, of course, they're growing, so they needed new clothes. Christmas was, pretty much right there. Our kids didn't get anything for Christmas.
0 gifts.
0.
Nothing.
It's hard to wake up in the morning and hear your wife cry on Christmas Day. I could care less about Christmas. I'm just,
He's not a holiday person.
I'm not a holiday person. Like, you just want me to spend my money. But I know how much Christmas means to her. And to wake up on Christmas morning and hear her crying because her kids do not have gifts, that's tough. That's enough to make you want to say, this isn't worth it.
So I saw somebody in the chat say, all of this is inspiring, but like I'm a single mom and everything. Guys, it's how bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? And all of this helped us develop a long-term mindset for this business. So all the excuses went out of the window. Lavelle is something very special. It's an opportunity that does not come around any day of the week. Like, it is an opportunity that you will never have another chance at, I feel. And that's how we looked at this business. And that was the beginnings of our mindset on this business. And so those 6 months, we had to educate ourselves. We had to educate ourselves on what this business was. Network marketing. What is it? Do you really know what you're into? Because we didn't know what we were into. We fell in love with the product. Like we said, the product sells itself. It works. But you have to work the business side of it. And so we had to educate ourselves. You hear all of these ladies on this panel talking about mindset, talking about I ams, talking about belief. You have to believe in yourselves. You have to believe that you can do it with 0 excuses. Because every single time you choose to quit this business, you're disqualifying yourself. And that was written on our mirror the whole 6 months. It's still written on our mirror today. Every time you choose to quit, you disqualify yourself.
Write that down, please. Every time I choose to quit, I disqualify myself from the blessings, from the new car, from the rank advancement bonus, from the house I want, from the retiring of my wife, retiring of my husband. Every time I choose to quit, I disqualify myself. And that's a statement that we read every single day during that 6 months. Was it tough? Pardon my language, hell yeah. But what was the alternative? What was the alternative? I was working for a moving company for 19 years. That's all I knew. I could barely get out of the bed in the morning before I started Thrive. So what was the alternative? I'm a felon. I have a felony on my record. What is the alternative? So God put this business in front of us for a reason. We just wanted to breathe. We just wanted our kids to breathe. We just wanted to be able to get up and say, hey, let's do what we want with our day. Let's go. I can take my kids to the football fields whenever I want. Or I can pick my daughter up from school or be at the bus stop. Those are the things we were running for. We just wanted to breathe. So that 6-month suspension was the biggest blessing in disguise for us because it sat us down. It made us look at, okay, why are we here? Is it worth it to keep pushing? So we educated ourselves on what network marketing was. We started working on our mindset because Lord knows we needed to during that period. We developed a positive mindset and we just showed up. Guys, you have to show up on every single day, no matter what happens. If you want to bring your business back to life, you have to show up. Showing up is the first step. No, I take that back. Desire is the first step. Desire will give you the courage to try again. And then you have to show up every single day. You want to jump in there, Q? I don't want to.
So I'm just going to jump in and say, like, and when we got shut down, they had just dropped 2 days later, they dropped rank advancement bonus. So we would have been in the running for 200K, but guess what? It wasn't our time. And so everything that these ladies talked about today, because I'm not going to go over all of that again, you guys took notes, but everything that these ladies talked about today was inserted into our lives when rank advancement bonus dropped again this year. The discipline, our mindset, we had worked on our mindset. We had a growing team. And so we made a decision. When those bonuses dropped, we made a decision that it was happening. It was a non-negotiable. So what is your non-negotiable? Because for us, we were going to hit this bonus no matter what. And the beginning of that month, the end of February going into March, I wrote down a date and I said, I will be 200K by that date. And this goes with the IMs. We set our IMs every single day. We have a Zoom. We call it Wake Up and Win every single day at 11 o'clock. And our team gets on and we speak our IMs out loud. And so I wrote down that date, and guys, I hit my 200K bonus on that date. So if you're rolling your eyes at IMs and mindset and discipline and self-development, then you're already losing. You're already losing. You're already counting yourselves out, because it is so important. I hear people say, well, I don't read, so I listen to Audible. No, sit down and read the dang book. Sit down and read the book. I'm the ADD one too. I hate reading. Can't stand it, but I'm not going to push someone to read a book. I'm on my team. I can tell you, like, they probably are like, if you tell me you don't read, I'm not going to buy you a book. I'm not going to buy you a book because you say you don't read. So when you're ready to actually sit down and read that book, then I'll send you the book. I can't make this decision for you. Your leader cannot make this decision for you. You have to make this decision yourself. And we made that decision, and I hit that bonus on the date I wrote down, and then Tommy hit it 2 days later.
So just to clarify, you guys, like, we're both 200Ks. This isn't, Tommy and Q one account. Like, I want you guys to understand that
Tommy is my upline.
Get to work. Like, we're double bang. I saw it in the chat.
Bang.
Yes, double bang. So, like, guys, we've been like, that 6 months that set us down, like, prepared us for this, because some of you guys aren't ready. I'm gonna say that again. Some of you guys are not ready to be 12Ks. You're not ready to be a 40K. You're not ready to carry the burden of 80K, 200K. Well, I'm not going to say burden, the gift of 80K, 200K. And until you develop yourself, develop your mindset, and show up every single day, I don't know what to tell you.
So as you're growing, every level of leadership is going to teach you and get you prepared for your next level, your next rank. So if you're trying to skip the levels, you're just going to fall right back down. You can't skip over it. You can't skip the 200K. If the 200K responsibility was placed in your lap today, I would love to see how many people would actually make it. Because it's more than money. It's more than money. You have to love what you do. You have to love people. You have to love this business, because you deal with them every single day. Another thing, guys, is like, don't treat everyone that you meet like a prospect. Treat them like a human, because you just don't know where that relationship is going to take you. And so I hear a lot of people say, I'm stuck. I don't know. Are you meeting people and treating them like a prospect? Or are you being human and getting to know them and treating them and finding out what their needs, their goals, their dreams are? Because All of that comes with the rank. Do you want to?
Sure.
Okay. We're splitting our time.
We're splitting our time. So, I know we're kind of going over, so I'll just be really quick and give like the things that helped us come back in this business. Was one, like everybody else, developing a positive mindset, getting real clear on why you're here. The second one is the developing a positive culture on your team. If there is negativity in your team, cut it out. You cannot thrive in a negative environment. It's not going to happen. So create a positive culture within your team.
Make it a non-negotiable.
Make it is.
I have zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance for drama.
Or gossip.
And our third thing was we created a simple blueprint, duplicatable system that anybody on our team could do. You have to have something that if you can't walk away from your business for 2 days to take care of something, then you've got a job.
That's not time freedom.
That's not time freedom.
By the way.
So we got real clear on, okay, now I forgot who it was that said it, but I think it was Lindsay. You have to put your blinders on to what everybody else is doing. Because if you're like, oh, look, they're doing this today. Oh, look, they're doing this today. And you're trying to take all these bits and pieces and put them into a puzzle that doesn't fit together, it's never going to work. Get with your runners on your team. Find out their goals. Get with the people that are hungry. I'll take hunger over potential any day. Get with the people that are hungry on your team. And y'all get real clear on what y'all doing together and go for it.
So get hungry and make a decision.
Get hungry and make a decision. I love it. So
we're going to pass.
Tommy, really quick, I saw like 10 to 12 people asking, they're like, what book? I think you guys just mean like self-development books, right?
Self-development books, yes. Self-development books, you have to get your mind right.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. If you are in this company and you have not bought this book yet, this is the first book. Get the book. It shows the determination of who we are following in this business. Get the book. So get this one. This is the first one.
Yes. Okay, we're going to pass it to Shantae so that she can do a giveaway.
Thank you so much, Tommy and Q. And thank you, Brittany and Hannah and Lindsay. You guys were incredible. I know everyone's notebooks are probably busting at the seams at this point. You guys did such an incredible training, so thank you all very much. And I'm here to give away some Thrive credits. So I chose randomly 4 winners to win $400 in Thrive credits. So let's get this show going. So once I announce the winners, you guys will have 5 minutes to email calls@lavelle.com. calls@lavelle.com. You have 5 minutes, and please email with the email that is attached to your Lavelle account. So here are the winners. We have Victoria Hossman from Texas, David Osborne from North Carolina, Kim Castleman from Michigan, and Sheena Brand from Alberta, Canada. Congratulations, you guys. Please email calls@lavelle.com in the next 5 minutes to claim your $400 in Thrive credits. So I'm going to kick it back over to Lindsay to end this, and thank you all very much.
Like, how do you end that? Everybody was so amazing. But I do have just a couple things. Like Q and Tommy, my husband and I are both 200Ks as well in this company, 2 separate accounts. So when you think that downfall is going to stop you, like, you come back and you buckle down and you do it past your wildest dreams. I wanted to just hit 200K once. Little did I know God had other plans, right? Like we weren't stopping there. We're not stopping now. But a couple things that I saw in the chat that I want to touch on is people said they were stuck. And I'm going to give you guys some lens love to end this for you guys. You're not stuck. You're just choosing not to move. There is a huge difference. None of us on here strive to be inspirational. I saw that so many times. Your stories are so inspirational. You're so inspirational. Y'all, there is Pinterest for that. Gotta love it. But we are not here to be inspirational. We're here to be real. And so the difference between a successful business, a successful team, and somebody who is just here as a hobby is the real versus inspiration. You can work this, and I got this from Hannah, you can work this part-time, you can work this full-time, but you cannot work this sometimes. You know what it's like to stop. You know what it's like to quit. Now I want you guys to figure out what it's like to keep going. Prove to yourself, see what it is like to keep going, learn to stop stopping, quit quitting, and go and do the damn thing, y'all. Excuse my French, but go and do it. The only person in your way is you guys. So I hope that somebody got at least something out of this Saturday. And thank you guys so much for hopping on. Again, thank you, Lavelle, for asking all of us. You could not have picked better people. I loved listening to all of the panelists as well. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. And y'all, go do the damn thing, because you truly have the power. Your superpower, this might sound cliche, but it is you. So have a great rest of your Saturday, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.